Okay, 6-pack picks. We wrap up the week making our big picks of the week. And last week, not as good as our first week. Our first week, we were 5-1. Yay! Last week, 3-3. I do want to say, just if I can get this off my chest for a second, if ESPN and Fox are going to ruin college football and essentially nuke the Pac-12, and if they're going to do all of that, can we at least, get one legitimately interesting game this weekend? I mean, like when we're making the schedule, and I know it's the conferences that make the schedule, but ESPN tells the SEC what to do because they pay them, and Fox tells the Big Ten what to do. And could we get an Ohio State, Oregon this week? Could we get a good game this week? Like last week, Tennessee, Georgia. Great. That's a great game. Can we get something? Because it's like this week is College Game Day is at 1-2 Florida visiting Miami. Ugh. And so it was not as much fun as it usually is to pick these games, but let's do it. Again, last week we were 3-3. We nailed the Tennessee game as well as the Titans. And we also got New England over Miami. However, we lost Vanderbilt. Very impressed by how Vanderbilt played. We lost the Vanderbilt game. We lost Kansas City. I thought they were going to beat the Eagles, and Houston on Monday Night Football. So with that, we get right to it, right at the top. College football this weekend, game number 1. This is probably the best game on the docket. Auburn, number 22 in the country. They're on the road at Oklahoma, number 11. Oklahoma is a 7.5-point favorite. That game 2:30 tomorrow Central Time on ABC. And I am taking Oklahoma and kind of a blowout, 31-14. I think it'll be close for about a half. And then I think Oklahoma, who is legitimately good, is going to blow out Auburn, who I think is fugazi. I think Auburn has beaten some Sisters of the Poor. And so because they're a name brand, they're ranked 22 in the country. I don't think they're very good. I think Oklahoma blows them out. Give me the Sooners, Boomer Sooner, 31-14. Meanwhile, the College Game Day game. Florida at Miami. Billy Napier is on death row. 6:30 ABC. Miami, I think, deals the death blow to Billy Napier. Miami wins 41-10, so I'll lay the 9.5, although that is a big number. And let me just say this. I think this is it. I think that on Sunday morning, Billy Napier fired as the head coach at Florida. And while I wouldn't hire John Gruden to be the head coach, I think there's a legitimate chance John Gruden gets the Florida job because he's got a big name in Florida. He lives in Florida. He coached and won a Super Bowl at Tampa Bay. So he's got the Florida ties. But I also think it's kind of because there's a lack of who else is out there. What's a big, sexy name? Who's a young, up-and-coming coach? Maybe Alex Golish that they could hire out of USF? Maybe. But I think Gruden's got a legitimate shot, and they're probably thinking if we hire Gruden, we'll get NIL money, and we'll get more people that will be interested in donating NIL money than if we hire Will Stein to be the head coach of the OC at Oregon, who is my buddy, who I think is going to be a head coach next year, and I think is a very good coach, and I'd hire before I'd hire Gruden. But I am thinking that on Monday, Billy Napier will be out of a job. I'll go Miami 41-10. Okay, to the NFL. And I think the best game, or at least in my opinion, the best game is at noon on Fox. The LA Rams go on the road to take on Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a 3.5-point favorite. Give me the Rams. And give me the Rams to win outright. I'm going to go LA 30-24. I think LA gave Philadelphia all they could handle in the playoffs last year. I think LA is legit. And I think last week, LA came in here and they worked out a lot of kinks, which is why I believe Stafford was throwing the ball a lot to Devontae Adams, because he knows, hey, if they take away Puka, I go to Devontae. If they take away Devontae, I go to Puka. And so we'll see if the Eagles pass rush. Josh Sweat's not there anymore. Milton Williams isn't there anymore. Now they still have Jalen Carter, but we'll see if the Eagles pass rush can get to Stafford. I'm taking the Rams. Again, Vegas gives you 3 points for home field advantage. This game's in Philadelphia. I'm going to take the Rams. And I'm going to say this. I think the Rams are going to win outright. Give me the Rams 30-24. Okay. Noon on CBS. Mike Vrabel, the great Mike Vrabel, and the New England Patriots hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are 1.5-point favorites. That game is at noon again on CBS. I find this game to be fascinating. You know, Vrabel, former Steeler. You know, I don't think Vrabel has ever beaten the Steelers. And I was thinking that when I was making this prediction, and I was like, wait a minute. Did Vrabel ever beat the Steelers? And I remember the time that they played the COVID year and got their rear end spanked and then came all the way back and missed a field goal and lost. And then I thought about the next year when they went on the road. Pittsburgh wasn't very good, and Racy McMath and somebody else, Deontay Foreman, fumbled the game away, and Nick Westbrook-Akine didn't run all the way to the sticks on fourth down, and they lost that game. And I'm like, and then there was the Thursday nighter with Will Levis. I'm like, you know, Mike Vrabel, the great Mike Vrabel, I don't think has ever beaten Mike Tomlin. And I don't think that's going to change. I don't think this New England team's very good. They barely beat the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins fucking stink. So, Pittsburgh, 1.5-point favorites on the road at New England. Give me Pittsburgh 18-16. So, Pittsburgh's going to cover. It's going to be ugly. Because that's, I think, how Pittsburgh's kind of doing business, how they've always kind of done it. Since Ben and Bell and Brown and those guys have left, it's going to be ugly. Pittsburgh 18, New England 16. The great Mike Vrabel loses again. The best game, if it's not the Rams and the Eagles, the best game by far, in my opinion, this weekend. And I was surprised Rams-Eagles didn't get better, a better billing, but it's because the Cowboys are playing the Bears. So that's kind of the big game. But the one that I think's got some nice little juice to it, the Monday Nighter. Detroit and Baltimore. That game in Baltimore, 7:20, ABC, ESPN. Give me the Ravens. I feel as if the Lions, I'm not going to say they're in a rebuilding year, and I'm not going to say that they're not going to make the playoffs, but I feel like their championship contention window is over. I mean, and I mean this with all due respect. I think that with the coordinators gone, there's going to be some kind of feeling everybody out, trying to figure out what's next. And I don't think Dan Campbell is so smart that he can absorb losing both coordinators. I'll take the Ravens, who I feel like they've kind of got it rolling. I'll go Baltimore 28-21. The Ravens 4.5-point favorites at home. I'll lay the 4.5. Again, Baltimore 28, Detroit 21 on Monday Night Football. And by the way, that's a good Monday night game. I got excited last week for the Tampa Bay-Houston game. That game lived up to the billing. Detroit-Baltimore, that is a pretty good Monday Night Football game to get excited about. And finally, our game of the week, noon, CBS, Tennessee, Indianapolis. Indianapolis, 4.5-point favorites on the road here at Nissan Stadium. I am taking the Titans. So I will take the 4.5, and I will take Tennessee 22-21. I don't know how they'll do it. I think this is going to be one of those weird and funky games. I think there's going to be a superstar cam play in there. I think there's going to be a lot of, oh my God, yes, and also, oh my God, no's out of the Titans this week. But I think they find a way. I think this group's got too much pride to just bend over and take it the way that they took it last year to Malik Willis and Green Bay in week 3 and essentially ended their season. I'm taking the Titans. This is the first time I think I've ever taken the Titans or said that, hey, what they're going to do is good in a long, long time. Tennessee 22, Indianapolis 21. That's going to do it for us. A reminder, post-game live as soon as Titans and Colts are over. In fact, I kind of want to go to the game Sunday, but I don't know how I'm going to go to the game and do post-game live. So The one thing I promise, if I figure it out between now and Sunday, then I'll go to the game and then I'll do post-game live. But as of now, the one thing that is certain, post-game live, as soon as Titans-Colts over, right here on the YouTube page, on the Stillman & Company YouTube page. Like and subscribe. Of course, Titans Monday at 2 o'clock. And, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, we're all there. So go check it out. Again, like and subscribe. Stillman & Company. Have a great weekend.